Hey, 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 Mom Nation, and welcome back to another episode of Her Inner Circle with my awesome co host, Darian of the Zen Den of Gilbert. Welcome, Darian.
Thank you so much for having me, as always, Katie.
Oh, it's always a fun time. I love this conversation because the conversations that we have here at Her Inner Circle, it's like how to be a good girlfriend, being a friend, how to create a circle around you of support. Like all this stuff is stuff that we talk about. And a lot of things that you do at the Zen Den sort of embodies that whole idea as well. So it's really a fun time for me to be able to just kind of relax, sit back, and talk about friendship, relationship, supporting other women. So thank you for being here
Yes,
for that.
thank you for the opportunity.
Of course. I love it that you're here for that each and every time. Today, I wanted to bring up something that I'm a little bit passionate about. So I apologize out there if Katie starts getting a little crazy about this one because it drives me nuts. And I think that it really is a friendship blocker. I don't know if that's like a good term for this, but you ever communicate with somebody and maybe you were real close to them, maybe you were just getting to know them, but they just like were always right and they always had to be right and nothing you said was right, or if it sounded right they found something wrong with it or showed you how to be righter. Ever happened to you?
Yeah, that as well as, I also liken it to one-uppers, right? So
Yes.
nothing you're going to say is going to be as good or as important or as big. So yes, I've definitely experienced both.
And obviously, again, I mentioned I was very passionate about this, so clearly it's happened to me. But I'd love to know your experience and maybe share a little bit about, do you deal with that over at the Zen Den in your women's support circles? Have you had some interaction with these always gotta be writers? And how does it make
Not
you feel?
I wouldn't say necessarily at the studio. I think when people come to the studio and we're having more women's circles and things like that, everybody's very open, right? And one of the rules that we set at the beginning of each circle is like this is a judgment-free zone. We don't use any you should
Mm,
comments. We if somebody says I would love some thoughts, advice, etc., that's different than everybody jumping in saying, well, you should read this or you should tell them this or whatever the case may be, right? So we create the space for both, but the feeling is very different, right? We're asking for advice, opinion, as opposed to somebody just word vomiting on us. But
mhm,
me, personally, in my day job also, I've definitely dealt with some strong personalities in that aspect, and just as a human, right? Just some friends that maybe started out really great, like you loved hanging out with this person, and then to your point, come to realize that um, it just wasn't going to work out because it was always a competition,
yeah,
or my beliefs over your beliefs, yours are more solid than mine, whatever the case may be. And personally, honestly, like sometimes I get turned off by some things that I read or see online. I'm like, should I just block this person? But what I've
yeah.
come to realize is, I mean, and if they're spewing, that's one thing. But what I've come to realize is that we're all going to have different beliefs. We're all going to have ideals. My rule of thumb is like, just don't be a jerk about it.
Right, right.
Like we're all going to have different beliefs, but just be a good human. Yours aren't better than somebody else's. Your thoughts, opinions, even if you have a fact, does it, to your point, do you have to be right? Can you
Mhm.
just sit back and allow people to have their views? So, yeah, it's affected me recently and definitely in the past.
It's to me, it feels like a showstopper, like a growth stopper, a relationship blocker. Like, where does the relationship go from there? It doesn't, to me, it doesn't feel like a safe place to land any longer.
Mm,
Like, that relationship is just not comfortable because I'm always like, am I going to get fact checked? Like, every single thing that I say. And now I appreciate when people, um, in a friendly, loving way, offer some guidance. Because I do like to have the right information, right? I mean, who doesn't? I don't think anybody likes to make decisions on the wrong information or misinformation, right? Whatever we're calling it today. But it just doesn't feel safe when it's delivered in a way that is attacky or one uppy. And I see it a lot online, Darian. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what someone's going to say to your face is very, very different than what they're going to say on a comment, on a post. And some of the stuff is like, you just eliminated any opportunity to have a deep connection with this person or any connection at all. You may have affected that person. Who knows, right? Like you and I are different. People are different out there. You may have affected that person so deeply that like now they're not going to reach out online anymore. Now they're not going to say their piece online anymore. Now they're not going to participate in any discussion because it just doesn't feel like a soft place to land.
Well, and it's unfortunate that people just feel a lot more brave, cavalier, online, on their keyboards, on their computers. I mean, we talked about this before, just how many anonymous comments and posters there are now,
Hmm.
because that's an option. That that's their form of, I guess, feeling good about themselves. Like it's sad and it's unfortunate that that's the case, because it seems like people just jump on the opportunity to knock other people down.
And like, I'm sure we can come up with a zillion reasons of why that is and what's happening inside of that person, because obviously that's a huge cry for help. Like, what's the benefit? Like you're just making yourself feel better because someone else feels worse.
Well, and is it because you think that you're right? It goes back to our like the beginning of this conversation is just like, do you feel better because you think you're right now? And to your point, like what's going on inside that person? We'll never know. Insecurity, they're dealing with some things at home, at work. They have no control of their lives, or different aspects of their lives. So that's why they're attacking other people or always finding the need to be right or to one up somebody. It's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
it is. It is unfortunate. I was actually having this conversation on the third Monday night of every month. Yes, guys, this is a little bit of a plug, okay? You can tell by the way I'm saying it, is our networking meeting. Our Biz Mom Nation has a little sister group, and it's of business owners, and we meet up on the third Monday of every month at 5:30 on Zoom. And we share a variety of things, and it's a very valuable conversation oftentimes. We're very vulnerable in that space, and we understand everybody's at a different level. So you're not the kind of stuff we're talking about today doesn't happen there. But somebody did share one of the entrepreneurs in that meeting shared. So I was asking in a Facebook group the other day about, I don't remember, some question about her business, and it was a pretty and a question that could definitely be answered by a variety of people in this particular group because it was specific for that thing. And someone responded to her post and said, like, I'm doing it. I know that we don't hear tone in words, but I could just imagine this being the tone. Like, well, why don't you Google it? You know? And she's like, okay, I totally could have Googled it, but I want to hear the human experience. I don't want to speak to a computer. I would like to have a conversation with you. I would like to learn the little nuances. It was like something to do with gardening or something like that. And it was a specific group for this thing. But we can Google all day long, but and I will never feel this way. I mean, I guess I have a lot of life still left to live and things may change, but I will never feel like a computer is going to replace a human being. I just will never feel like that. And having that interaction with another human, conversation could lead to other questions, could lead to, more explanation about the nuance of whatever it is she was trying to accomplish. And she's like, and this is a very strong woman, so this did not stop her at all. But she was like, so what? We can't ask questions now? just because Google and AI exist and we might be able to get some sort of answer out of this computer? Like, so we can't talk anymore?
So I'm first of all, like I'm really glad that you create this safe space every third Monday. Because being a business owner, we don't have a lot of space to be vulnerable. So first of all,
True
thank you for
that.
creating that space.
You're welcome.
Secondly, I did a post the other day, and in my post, I was very specific about my question. I said, I would love your personal experience because I've seen those exact comments before. Ask ChatGPT, Google
Yeah.
it, right? And I'm like, no, I mean, I could Google it, which I did, right? But I was like, this is Mom Nation. I want experience from other moms, personal
Mhm.
experience on this thing that I'm looking for. So that's why I was
Mhm.
very specific because I knew that somebody was gonna come after me. I just knew it.
And that's
And
like kind of sad.
yeah, exactly.
It's sad that we have to preface our question with a, "Hey, I know I could ask a computer, but can we please just have a regular human to human conversation here?" Like, my gosh. There was a post the other day, you may have seen this, that was in our group in Mom Nation, the big group, Arizona, the big group is what I call it because, obvious reasons. And the woman starts off with, I don't want to catch any shade or any mean comments about this, but like, what do you think about preteen girls wearing crop tops? Because
Oh,
it's
I
like
saw that.
all the rage. Did you see that one?
I saw the question, and then I saw like probably close to 100 comments.
There were quite a bit. There were quite a bit. And I did read through them. I haven't circled back to it in about a day or so. I think it probably died down since. But I did read through it, and I am so proud of our group because in pure Mom Nation fashion, everybody showed up and the same level of vulnerability, friendliness, just wanting to help and support. There were like two semi borderline comments that I could see were kind of starting to get a little bit snarky, but that conversation ended quickly and didn't continue. That fire just kind of burnt out. And I had to comment. And I was like, guys, I am so proud of us. I am so, because it's kind of a spicy topic. I think in any other
Agree.
group, it would have gone a little sideways. Um, I was like, this is super spicy, but I am so proud of all of you that came to this post in your friendly manner and gave your opinion and delivered it in a way that is not speaking down to somebody else or making them feel stupid, because how often does that happen? You know what I mean? I'm also proud of, because I know there has to be a handful of these out there, the moms that just scrolled on by because maybe they couldn't remain, emotionally in their lane. um, I'm proud of those people too.
Oh
And
yeah. I mean,
so,
I mean, I think we all have probably an opinion, an experience,
mhm,
whether we have boys or have girls, right? It's Mom Nation, so most of us have kiddos, or
mhm,
we've driven past a group of kids on the street and have been like, "Here's my opinion about that," right?
mhm,
So I 100% agree that it can sometimes be hard to maybe bite your tongue and be like, "Well, this is how I feel about this," right? And spew. But yes, I love to hear that people either scrolled or just kept it, their personal experience, their opinion without having to get nasty about it. Love
yeah,
to hear
because
that.
me too, and there's just no need for it. However, I did continue in my comment to just share that I still feel a bit sad that we are having to preface our comments, and because there were a few comments
Mhm.
that said, "Hey, this might be unpopular, don't come at me." You know what I mean? I I, I feel like being mean online is so last year. Like, haven't we healed and grown from then? I don't know. I have. Um, and I'm just like, we're now conditioned to just expect that. Yikes.
Yeah, so to your point, you have to preface, please don't come at me, please save your comments, or we have to post anonymously, hoping that nobody's going to be like, oh, that's so and so who lives down the street that's asking this really stupid question.
Right, right.
Right? If that's how we felt about it, yeah, I mean, you're right, it's unfortunate.
I don't think that we need any more reasons to be isolated, Darian.
Agreed.
I don't think we need any more reasons to not want to be in relationship with others, whether that be, platonic, romantic, whatever. I don't think we need more reasons. And I feel like a lot of people feel extremely isolated, have low to no human contact or really safe relationships where they can feel that they are 100% themselves and can be in that space as themselves, not pretend that they're somebody else or not pretend just something else other than who they are genuinely. I feel like we don't need more reasons.
Agreed, and I think we need to create more opportunities for people to be able to come out and be themselves. I mean, like,
100%.
and we are talking about isolation, there's still so many people that work from home. We have a couple women that come into Women's Circle that work from home, and genuinely, like, their only interaction with other women and adults a lot of times is coming to Women's Circle.
Yeah.
So, like, we need more spaces like that so people can just come, take off their armor, their online presence, and just be themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And now I'm worried about the people that we don't even know about that want to go to your circle and want to be in relationship with other people and receive that support and give that support, but they have been sort of burned
Yes.
online and now you're not going to see them.
Yes. Or
Those are the
or
people
they
I worry
or
about.
they well, and they just think they're walking into a lion's den of some kind, or it's their own internal struggles that prevent them from walking out the door, putting on pants, walking out the door, and
Hmm.
walking into a group of actually welcoming and loving people. And honestly, sometimes I think people just aren't ready for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we've spent so much time in this isolation. I'm, just going to stay over here doing my own thing. I don't like putting on pants. That that we'd rather just stay home than maybe push ourselves a little bit out of our comfort zone and see what there could be.
Hmm.
And then
You know,
that's what creates it's like this it's a cycle. That's what
it's a
creates
cycle.
those online that, throw out the snarky comments that always have to be right, the one-uppers.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to share something with you that I don't know, it might surprise you a little bit, but I'm kind of one of those people. Like, is that weird? So I'm on
That
these
you
all
don't
these
you don't like to put on
podcasts
pants?
and right, or leave my house. I mean, seriously, I am kind of one of those people, and there's a few different reasons for that. Um, and people get really surprised when I share that with them. Like, I really I love people, and I'm social when I'm out, but that space between home to going out is a struggle for me. And people are always shocked to hear that. And I'm like, well, I have feelings too. I'm a human being too. Like I've had things, that have happened in my life that create who I am today. And if I wasn't as strong as I was or as I think I am, I think that some of the interaction that I've had online that I've been a victim of would stop me in my tracks. I wouldn't even go out.
Well, that, and I also think there's something, you've got your social battery, right? When you even though you're in your home and I know that your output throughout the day is probably a lot. You're
It
not
is.
just hanging out, eating bonbons and watching Days of Our Lives, even if that's still a thing. I know that you're putting out a lot of energy during the day. So I'm sure that there's a lot of times at the end of the day where you're like, my battery is empty. Like I've got nothing left. And I
Mhm.
think people, I mean, and even at the end of the day, because I work all day and then I go teach yoga and then I lead a women's circle, that's a long day.
That's a
And
lot.
It's a lot, and it's only every other week, and I love it, and I look forward to it, but there's days that I'm just like, "Man, do I have anything left in my social tank to be able to
Mhm.
go and lead and, um, hold space?" Because that takes a lot of energy. So when you're saying I think people look at us like, "Oh, they're extroverts." And especially for you because you have this huge online presence, you have these groups, you're doing these podcasts, you're an agent, right? So people just
Mhm.
assume she's an extrovert, she's out in the community all the time, and same here. But it also gets to a point where you have to conserve your energy. So it's just finding that balance of, and I'm sure you have your core group of friends and people that you see. And I mean, you just did that huge Halloween party. That was, I'm sure you're still recovering from that. Uh,
Yes. That
so
was a
it's just
lot of
like
social battery draining, yes.
100%. So I can relate to that. And just knowing what your limits are, I think is really important.
Totally agree. So, for the gal out there that's listening to this and she's like, "Oh my gosh, that sounds like me." What are some ways, and I don't know if this is something that you talk about in circle, but what are some ways where somebody can get familiar with themselves enough to understand that social battery thing? Because when you talk to me about it, like I know what you're talking about, but some people might not.
Well, I think you have to, it's trial by fire. You have to experience it yourself. So you have to, I mean, again, I still struggle. There's times where I'm like, maybe I'm going to go out on Friday night. And Friday comes and I'm like, I'm putting on my pajamas and I'm going to binge watch something. I mean, that happens more times than not, but I'm in this weird phase of life right now. Um, but I would say just go try something, right? Just step out of your comfort zone a little bit. Go see what that's going to be like because I feel like you and I are both introvert extroverts, right?
Mhm.
Again, especially at this point in our lives where we only have so much energy to give and we're only going to give it to what's really important to us, truly.
That's right.
So figuring out what's really important to you. So say you do have a job where you're working from home all day and you're like, I do kind of want to get out there, but I don't know what I want to do. It's finding something that you want to do. Start small. Go have coffee with a friend. Don't go see a band.
Right.
Right?
Right. For
Go
hours. Yeah.
right. Go meet a friend for coffee. Maybe go to like a cute bookstore or you know what I mean, doing something that lights you up. Maybe go, paint a piece of pottery, something that you're into before you decide, no, I think I'm gonna go to a concert, a festival on Sunday. So I would say baby step, and if it's really like social interaction, meeting new friends, things like that. We've talked about this before. Obviously,
Mhm.
come to a women's circle and meet a welcoming group of friends, or find one of these groups online. Maybe, to your point, maybe it's a gardening club, maybe it's a book club, something like that. Especially a lot of these neighborhood groups like Queen Creek or Gilbert or Mesa, there's people all the time that are like, let's just start a book club, and everybody
Mhm.
jumps on it, right? So maybe not book club because then you're committed. Um, but just something where you're tiptoeing, trying new things, and then it's a short period of time. It's an hour or two. It's not an all-nighter. It's not a huge group of people. It's just something that you can tiptoe your way into so you don't overwhelm yourself.
I love that. And as you were great advice. And as you were talking about that, something came to mind for me. So I'm a motorcycle rider. I don't ride my bike a lot because it has to be super perfect weather for me. I'm kind of a wuss. So there's like 4 weekends out of the year in Phoenix, that I will ride because can't be too hot, can't be too cold. But there are a ton of motorcycle little groups and clubs and stuff around. And I kind of like those because I can go and be social, but I'm on my bike and I'm in my own helmet and I'm like most of the time, right? Yeah, we stop and we have lunch or whatever, but then I'm back on my bike and I'm still in it, but I'm not, if that makes sense.
Yeah, same reason why I love yoga. You go in,
There you
you kind
go.
of say you kind of say hi to everybody. You get on your mat. You're in your zone within the four corners of your mat for an hour, and then you say goodbye to everybody and take off.
Yeah. And I'm now like the floodgates have opened, right, in my mind. And so now I'm thinking of paddle boarders.
Hmm.
Same kind of thing. Like there's little paddleboard groups around. Um people who are into different types of cars. I see this all the time where, I'm out on the freeway or whatever, and like 17 Mustangs drive by, and they're all driving together and they're going to go do something. But that could be an idea too for somebody who is maybe trying to get their way into becoming more social and having more of a social life, and getting out of their house more. That could be a way to do it too, where it's kind of like, I'm a little bit with people, but I'm also a little bit doing my own thing.
Absolutely. I think that's probably why pickleball got so popular too. Like people are nuts about pickleball. I mean, you're talking, you're interacting, but you're also like in your zone. Like I want to whoop these people, right? Um,
Totally.
that I think that's why pickleball blew up. It helps people get out of their house again,
Yeah.
and it's not too strenuous.
It isn't. No, and it's fun. Oh my
And it's
gosh, it's
fun.
so fun. Yeah, have
Mhm.
you been to speak about that? Side note, they're not paying me for this, but I just love them. Have you been to the Electric Pickle?
No, but they wanted to. I think we talked about doing some type of collab where I was going to go teach over there
Oh, really?
something, and yeah, and it kind of fell through the cracks, but it looks really cool. And there's this other one that just opened up called Dink and Dine. I think it's in Mesa, and it's like a similar concept.
Oh, really? It's so
Yeah,
fun. It's so, so fun. I would love it. So if you do end up doing some yoga or something there, let me know, because I
I
don't
will.
live very far from the Electric Pickle and I love it. It's a cool place.
I've heard great things. Yes, we are. This is a non-paid ad for these establishments, but yeah, I want to check them
Exactly.
out. It might be fun. Like, so last women's circle, we ended up going out. We usually just circle in the studio, and we decided last Tuesday to go. We went to the Vig in Gilbert that just opened,
Nice.
and it was
Nice.
so fun just getting out of the studio, hanging out. So I think we're going to be doing more of those, off-site get-togethers too. So maybe we'll schedule something at Electric Pickle or something like that.
Well, hook me up because I'll definitely meet you ladies there. But that's another example of kind of what we were talking about, like you with the yoga and me with the motorcycling, is get into something like that where you're going to a place, you're being social, but there's something to do. Because the Electric Pickle has bocce ball, they have pickleball, obviously, they have hula hooping, which
Fun.
try hula. Yeah, I'm 46 years old. These hips just do not hula hoop like they used to. My kid hula hoops like crazy. He can keep
Of
that thing up
course.
for, yeah. I'm like, where, how? It's like a
Yeah.
little spaghetti noodle. Um, but they've got ping pong, they've got bags, they have all this kind of stuff. And I have always found that my social anxiety, because yeah, newsflash, I do have it, guys. You've heard it here, um, is tame when I'm doing something,
Yes.
playing a game or
I don't
whatever.
think you're alone in that at all.
Yeah. So, a couple of tips from us to you guys. Anything else that you want to add to this topic? I know it's one that fires me up, but I think we pack some value in here.
No, I think it's important, and I'm glad that we're just opening up the conversation, opening up other people's eyes, maybe, just being a little bit more sensitive when you're seeing a comment or a thread or something that you might not necessarily agree with. Just to be kind. I think that's the biggest takeaway is always be kind.
Absolutely. There was this one last thought before we sign off here. When I first moved to Arizona, so I've lived here for 21 years now. Um, I had this neighbor, and he was a cool guy. He was about my mom's age, and so like we would just like shoot the breeze every now and again. I'd see him outside, and we ended up getting a little bit more friendly. So we would do dinner together and stuff. And I was married at the time to my first husband, so it wasn't anything romantic. We were just friends. And he said something to me one night that I will never ever forget. It will remain in my mind as long as I live. And he said, "Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?"
Mm. So important, huge.
Right?
Hmm.
So, with that, I will leave you guys. If you want to check out any of our previous episodes, hop on over to our YouTube channel. It is Mom Nation USA. That's our handle. Scroll down just a little ways. You will see the bright green playlist, and that is Her Inner Circle with myself and Darian. If you prefer to listen podcast style because maybe you yoga a lot or maybe you ride your motorcycle a lot, then over on your favorite podcast platform, do a quick search for Mom Nation Talk Radio. There you will find us. Like, download, hit the little bell to notify all the things, and you will never miss a beat. We'll see you next time.
Thank you,
Bye.
Katie.
Oh, happy holidays. Bye.
What if you could hit pause? Connect? Heal? Welcome to the Zen Den of Gilbert, your wellness sanctuary. At the Zen Den, the heart of the community begins with its founder. Meet Darian Marie Pruitt, a certified yoga instructor and passionate advocate for holistic well-being. From gentle yoga and breathwork to women's circles and healing workshops, plus expert massage and aesthetic care. At the Zen Den, community, mindfulness, and holistic self-care meet. Experience the Zen Den at 3651 East Baseline Road in Gilbert, a place to connect, heal, and shine.